Hi guys, it's Tolu Foye, and today I have something awesome to show you. You guys remember Yohance? If you don't, you can check our Yohance Spotlight video right here, or the link is in the description to this video below. Anyway, a Yohance animated movie is in the works and we can't wait to see it. But this project needs your help. They've already raised $6,000 at the time of this recording, and we need only $4,000 to hit the goal. Once we have $10,000, an investor is going to bring in another $50,000, so we're going to get this awesome animated movie. Why should you care? Well, to show you how much work and research has gone into producing this space opera African epic, we teamed up with RedSpiritMask, another YouTube channel that focuses on African art and culture. So here is RedSpiritMask going in depth into all the cultural and artistic influences in Yohance. Enjoy!
Hello my friends, today we're talking about Yohance, a wonderful African sci-fi adventure film developed by Paul Louis Julie. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin and I'm from a channel called RedSpiritMask. I was invited here today by the Kugali channel to talk to you about this awesome animated project. First up, we're talking about the mask worn by the main character. This mask is made by the Fang people. They come from Cameroon, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. This powerful object was known as the Ngil mask and was used by a secret society of the same name. This association was active until the turn of the 20th century. Members of the Ngil served political, judicial, and policemanship roles in the Fang villages. Ngil activities include settling disputes between clans, protecting people from witchcraft, sorcery, and poisonings, and punishing criminals. Ngil masqueraders would hunt down criminals in the dead of night, while being accompanied by other association members. The white Kowloon paint that covers most Fang masks has curative properties and is said to embody spiritual powers. It's definitely the sort of mask that's befitting of a hero. But of course this mask from the Fang is not the only African art that can be found in Yohance. There's a whole bunch of other African art references that can be found in the trailer for this movie project. This first character we see here appears to be wearing a mask that is inspired by the Chiwara mask of the Bamana people, who come from Mali and other parts of West Africa. In the second image, a large masked figure looms behind our hero. This figure is inspired by a Gunyi Gi mask, also commonly referred to as a runner's mask. It's made by the Dan people, who come from Côte d'Ivoire and Liberia. The spaceship here is inspired by the same Chiwara design we saw referenced in the first image. As for that soldier down there, we'll talk about him a little later. In this zoomed out image, we get to see a character we hadn't seen before. This guy's face is covered by a Benin hip mask, specifically a leopard head. By the way, the Benin come from Nigeria. The woman on the right has her body completely clad in a particular pattern. Upon first glance, I assumed it was probably a raffia cloth pattern from the Kuba people of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Though of course the Kuba are always a safe bet, because according to the book The Royal Arts of Africa, the Kuba have 2/3 of all formulaically possible pattern variations incorporated into their cloth designs. Now having said all that, I do believe it's possible that another type of cloth could have inspired this design, such as the Bogolan Fini of the Bamana people of Mali. And there are other possibilities as well. Either way, I'm pretty sure this character's design was inspired by African textiles. And before we move on, I might as well mention that there's a zebra pattern in the background. In this next image, we have some floating space heads. It's hard to say for sure what inspired them, but I believe it was inspired by Chokwe masks. The Chokwe can be found in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo. There's also some floating buildings back there that have a very interesting shape to them. They look kind of familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on what they could be. This cityscape gives us a plethora of things to look at. Immediately in the foreground we can see 2 serpent headdresses from the Baga peoples of Guinea. Next to them appears to be the Adinkra symbol for wisdom and creativity. Above the symbol we can see 2 sculptures that appear to be sculpted by the Bale. The Bale people are one of the largest ethnic groups in Côte d'Ivoire. And that green holographic projection is likely another nod to the Fang masks, which we can see again in this next image. There's also some holographic cowrie shells. And in the distant background we can see a blurry image of the Adinkra symbol for the divinity of Mother Earth. There's quite a lot of Akan Adinkra symbols in Yohance. Here's another one. It means standard of quality. And of course the Akan people come from the country of Ghana. This striking mask right here could be inspired by the masquerades of the Bois, the Nuna, the Winiama, or the Nunuma. Either way, there was definitely some influence from the cultures of Burkina Faso. This monumental structure is inspired by masks made by the Toma people, also known as the Loma people. They live on the borders of Guinea and Liberia. Remember that character we talked about who had a Benin leopard mask? Well, here's a variation on that design. He appears to be carrying 2 ebon-style swords, which also come from the Benin. In the left panel, we can see a man wearing a conical hat. We can get a better look at it in this image. Now, I've seen some conical hats in a number of parts of Africa, though the most famous conical hats that I know of come from the Sutu people, who are of course from the country of Lesotho. Speaking of hats, this interior shot shows us a person wearing a Benin hat. The large heads that we see here remind me of fancy cups that come from the Kuba people. These heads of course have figures standing atop them, but because we only see a partial amount of them, I cannot determine what is the inspiration behind these statues. In the speech bubble, you'll notice that the name Kofi is used. For the Akan people, Kofi means Friday, and is a name often given to boys. Speaking of the Akan, I'm pretty sure I see an Akan Adinkra symbol in the background. Unfortunately, I can't seem to figure out exactly which Adinkra symbol that is. The closest symbols I know of to this particular symbol is the symbol for superiority and the symbol for affluence, but there could be some other meaning to this symbol. These 2 characters right here are either influenced by the Chokwe's Chikunza masks or the Yaka people's Koluka masks. Like the Chokwe, the Yaka can also be found in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo. This young woman's design was inspired by Kuba cloth patterns. Speaking of cloth, we can see some kente cloth from Ghana in this village scene. And this trio here takes their style from Yoruba Igungun. The Yoruba are one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. While we're on the topic of Nigeria, we can see in this vast underwater metropolis that there is a building that is inspired by the ancient artwork of Iboku. The peoples of Iboku are the ancestors of the Igbo people of Nigeria. Next up on this 3-panel display, we have a woman on the left who I believe is taking her cues from the Maasai of Kenya. The warrior on the right side of the panels is equipped with a Songye ceremonial axe. The Songye come from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And in the center panel we have a swordswoman who is equipped with an akrafena, which is a type of blade that comes from the Akan people. Behind this swordswoman you will see a purple sculpture. This sculpture I believe is based on either the Chokwe people's sculptures or the Tabwa people's sculptures. The Tabwa come from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia. And right above that sculpture we can see the Akan Adinkra symbol for readiness and steadfastness. And finally we have this amazing image. At the bottom we can see a soldier who takes his cues from the Benin of Nigeria. And at the top of this artwork we see Minganji masqueraders. They dance for the Pende peoples of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And in the corner we see a cute little Akuaba doll. And this Akuaba doll is of the Fonte variety. You can tell because of its rectangular head. The Fonte are one of the Akan peoples. And speaking of Akan, there's one last Adinkra symbol to look at. If you squint, you can just barely see one of the coolest Adinkra symbols there is, which represents independence, freedom, and emancipation. One more thing, this movie might be getting music from Tumani Diabate, who's a famous musician from Mali, though Toonami music would be pretty cool too. So as you can see, my friends, tons and tons of research has gone into this wonderful African sci-fi film. If you would like to support Paul Louis Julie in his efforts in making this culturally rich animated film, then check out his Indiegogo page and help fund this amazing project.
So, what do you guys think? If you can't tell already, RedSpiritMask has spent years researching African art and culture. So I think you guys should check out their channel. The link is in the description below. And if you want more Yohance, they have another video on their channel that goes into some content you didn't see in this video. It's a different topic. So check it out. Go subscribe to RedSpiritMask and please support the Yohance Indiegogo campaign. Every cent counts. Let's get this awesome movie funded. Thank you.